Tucker Carlson is under fire with the CIA and could potentially go to prison. Candace Owens says if that happens, we ride at dawn. And I'm sure Erica Kirk is doing cartwheels right now because it's not about her this time. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of In Cahoots Podcast. My name is Nikki. So today we are getting into it all. X and YouTube, they are just going off right now because Tucker Carlson, he's in a little bit of trouble with the CIA. Apparently, they've been reading his text messages. He's under fire a bit because they're starting a criminal investigation on him for speaking to people in Iran before the war. Okay, Candace Owens is not having it. A lot of creators aren't having it. And we're just going to get into it today. So I guess Erica Reginae Pinocchio Kirk, you could take a seat. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a few clips. Okay, so this is going to be a pretty packed show. But before we get into that, you already know what to do. Please make sure that you subscribe. Smash the subscribe button. Smash the like button too. Let's get on the algorithm. Let's let this channel grow. Also, make sure you share the video with all of your friends. Turn on your post notifications so that you know every single time there's a new video. And if you want to support the channel in any way, our Cash App and Venmo, that's right there on the screen. You can hit the say thanks button, throw supers in the comment section. You can also join to become a member. Now, let's go ahead and get into Tucker Carlson and what he has to say about the CIA tracking him.
So the other day I found out that the CIA is preparing some kind of criminal referral against me, a crime report to the Department of Justice on the basis of a supposed crime I committed. What's that crime? Well, talking to people in Iran before the war. They read my texts. So the crime under consideration apparently would be the Foreign Agent Act or something like that, acting as an agent of a foreign power. And I don't expect this to go anywhere. I'm not too worried about an actual criminal case against me for a bunch of reasons. One, I'm not an agent of a foreign power. Unlike a lot of people commenting on U.S. politics and global affairs, I have only one loyalty, and that's the United States. Have never acted against it. Its interests are the only interests I care about because I'm from here and I have a lot of kids. So that's not a concern. I've also never taken money from anybody. Don't need it, don't want it, and that's provable. And moreover, it's my job to talk to everybody all the time and try and figure out what's happening around the world. That's literally what I do for a living, and I'm not going to stop doing that, nor should I don't think. I'm also an American. I can talk to anybody. I have no secrets to divulge. So legally, I think the case is ludicrous, and I doubt it will even become a case. I'm bringing this up for a couple of reasons, though, and they're pretty obvious. One is that countries tend to become more authoritarian in wartime. It's just the nature of war. People are dying. The stakes are high. People's emotions have risen to a very high point, to a crescendo. And so there's much less tolerance for any kind of dissent in the homeland. The irony, of course, is the United States fights wars on behalf of freedom, but there's always less of it here in our country during war. So that's a widely recognized phenomenon, and it's likely to happen now too. Another point to make that is worth knowing is that the USIC, the intelligence agency, spy on Americans. Now, you probably knew that, and it's been revealed a lot, including by Julian Assange and Ed Snowden, both of whom are threatened with death for revealing it, but everyone knows. But it's probably a little more widespread than most people understand, and it's outrageous. There's no justification for your government, which you own, you're a shareholder in it, you pay for it, to be violating your privacy like this. But it happens all the time. And in fact, one of the reasons that CIA or people within CIA, just to be clear, it's a huge, sprawling, disconnected agency. What it does in a specific case doesn't represent what everybody in the building thinks, but there are some people who are mad at me for my views about Israel. And they have some latitude. And one of the reasons they pass on criminal complaints, in effect, to law enforcement is to justify warrants for spying on Americans. So that is an absolutely real thing. But the main reason they do it is to leak the existence of the investigation, such as it is, to the media. and then humiliate and terrify the subjects of this op. And that's, of course, happened to me repeatedly, many times, including in famously 2021 when I was still at Fox News and trying to set up an interview with Vladimir Putin. And the NSA, I heard from someone there, had grabbed my text messages with an American citizen and had leaked them to news outlets. Those texts were basically my attempts to set up an interview with the foreign head of state, and they leaked them to the New York Times in order to stop the interview, which they successfully did, by the way. And they admitted that they were spying on me. This is not a fantasy. It actually happened. They did it again 2 years later. My second attempt to get a Putin interview, I managed to get it anyway, and they've done it since. And so when you get a call from a reporter who knows the contents of your texts, it's pretty clear something's going on. None of this, in my judgment, as of right now, is a huge threat to me. So I'm not making this video to complain about it or whine or ask you to send me money because I'm under attack. I'm saying it because it's true, and you should know what your own government is doing, and you should know what the stakes are. And you should know that a lot of what happens in this country that affects outcomes happens behind the scenes. Some of it is legal, some of it is not, including what I'm describing now. But it has an effect. And the intel agencies, again, not everyone in the intel agencies, because there are decent, hardworking Americans who work in the intel agencies are Americans, just like there are decent, hardworking Americans who work at the DMV. But there are also people with agendas and grudges and no sense of restraint who are happy to misuse the power they have, granted them by our elaborate secrecy laws, to hurt fellow Americans for ideological reasons. That is entirely real. That's the story of Russiagate. And it's likely that things like that will begin to happen at greater scale now. So you should just know that going forward. Thanks.
Okay, so there's that. If you ask me, I don't think Tucker seems very worried. He doesn't seem worried at all. I mean, some of us may know, some of us may not know. Tucker's father, he was in the CIA. Tucker wanted to be a part of the CIA. He applied to be a part of it. I think that maybe because of the environment that he did grow up around, maybe he has connects, or maybe he has friends that are a part of the CIA. Maybe they are pretty much letting him know, hey, you'll be fine. Or maybe he just knows that himself. Maybe he has great attorneys that are like, look, we can just throw this out. Now, when it comes to other creators, yeah, a lot of people are not having it. They are basically saying like, look, if something happens to Tucker, then we know that everything is corrupt. Everything is off. We don't trust it. We're fighting for this. Like Candace Owens, for example. Candace Owens took to Twitter and she had something to say about it. Not much, but something to say. Candace Owens took to Twitter and said, if they come for Tucker, we ride at dawn. Real gangster. She said, really nothing else to say here. We're not doing the gulags 2.0 with these Bolshevik descendants. So in my opinion, Candace Owens is basically saying, I'm with whatever you're with. I'm on whatever you're on. Yeah, Candace is like, lately she's been real gangster. A few people did mention that Candace Owens did point out the fact that she was told that her and Tucker Carlson were next. Now, the thing is that when you say next, that could mean anything, right? But I think because of what happened to Charlie Kirk, if anything like that were to happen to Tucker or Candace, it would be a little bit obvious. So maybe they are thinking of going a different route to silence him. I mean, think about it. He does have a point. He's doing the same thing that he's done for years, whether he was on CNN, Fox, MSNBC, or even just his own podcast. He talks to people all around the world, good or bad, and he gets information that he chooses to share with the public. What it also seems like he's saying is that, hey, you can't try to get me with money. Got that. Don't need that. Don't want that. We know that Tucker Carlson, he came from money, and really that is kind of a stepping stone for him because you can't pin that part on him. He's made it very clear how much he loves this country. And from what he says in his video, he knows that he has not done anything wrong. Baron Coleman also gave his opinion on this as well. And we'll go ahead and let him tell that little story himself.
Tucker has a great advantage over everybody else. It comes from family money. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking him for it. I'm not calling him spoiled. I'm not saying he uses it to his advantage. What I'm saying is it puts him in a unique position in that you can't hold money over his head. Tucker, we're paying you $10 million a year. We'll fire you. Okay, whatever. I'll go get another job. You might not be able to find a job that pays $10 million. So what? I'll go do something else. He has money. He can't be bought. He can't be forced to toe the company line because he has cash. I think that's an important context here. But I mentioned that to say, if you can't hold his job over his head, if you can't hold money over his head, what can you hold over his head? His freedom. The only thing they have left. The only thing they have left. His freedom. You can take his liberty from him. You can put him in prison. You can take his lifestyle away. And that's the new threat. That's what they're saying in this video. That's what he's saying they're telling him. We're going to make a criminal referral because of text messages you were sending. It's a dangerous path to walk when somebody's in the journalism business.
Barron is right. You know, they really don't have anything else to hold over his head if you really think about it, except for his freedom. I mean, that's kind of scary. Think about it. If that's something that they would want to do to someone like Tucker Carlson, right? What do you think if they wanted Candace Owens to be silenced and they know, you know, we're not going to have another Charlie Kirk incident because that would be so obvious. And then now we have this big headline about Tucker Carlson and now his freedom is at jeopardy. What do you think they could do to Candace Owens if they wanted her to be silenced?
Called bootstrapping. So what they do is they need a judge to sign off on a warrant. In order to do that, in order to get the judge to say, yes, we will let you walk all over this person's privacy because we're pretty confident there's a crime underway. One of the ways they do this is they leak investigation details to the media. And when they see it then written in Time magazine or they see it written in the local paper, then they go in front of a judge and say, look here. There's evidence of criminal activity afoot. We need a warrant to go look a little closer. We need to read messages. We need to tap phones. We need to do surveillance. It's called bootstrapping. You're bootstrapping an argument. You're bootstrapping an argument in front of the judge. Time magazine didn't do the investigation. The Washington Post didn't do the investigation. The New York Times didn't do the investigation. The law enforcement illegally did the investigation. They leaked it out, and then they take the illegal product, the product of the illegal search, what in the law you would call the fruit of the poisonous tree if the truth were known, but they take it and they say, hey, look, there are unidentified sources that are saying this criminal activity is going on. These phone calls, these text messages, these communications. We should get a better handle on this. We need you to sign this warrant. And the judges go, oh, yeah, sign the warrant.
But see, the other part of that is that really nowadays they don't even necessarily need a signature from a judge because they can just purchase your metadata. That's even worse. Oh, goodness. But like I explained before, I mean, I just don't feel that Tucker Carlson is fearful. But he's seen this before, I'm sure. I mean, like he's definitely been targeted before. It's not the first time that his text messages have been, you know, spied on or whatever the case may be. And he grew up in this life. He knows what the CIA is capable of to an extent. He may not know everything. I don't think any of us know absolutely everything, obviously, but to an extent, he kind of has an idea of, you know, what they're gonna do or what could come from this. I have a clip here where Tucker Carlson, he talks about his father being in the CIA, how he even himself applied to join. So I'll let him take it away. Well, see, there you have it. It's never been a secret. He definitely has always been out about it, that he, you know, his father in the CIA, he applied for it and they denied him because of the drug situation. But in my head, I'm thinking, well, maybe they knew that you wanted this just so that you can talk about it. And that's like the number one thing that you cannot do in the CIA is talk about it. You can't talk about it with your wife. You can't talk about it with your kids, especially if you're sitting at the dinner table, like he just said, and he wants to be able to say, hey, it didn't quite happen like that. It happened like this. You're not allowed to tell people that. No, they knew that. Your coffee mug was bugged. They know that you want to go tell the real story. No, they're not having it. So yeah, they pinned it on the fact that within the past 12 months, he did some sniffy sniff. That's what we'll call some sniffy sniff. But no, your lamp was bugged, your TV was bugged, everything was bugged, you were bugged, and they knew that you wanted to talk about it. They were like, you talk too much, Tucker. You talk too much. Speaking of what the CIA is capable of and bugging, we have John Kiriakou, super famous whistleblower. He did about 24 months in prison because he blew the whistle on the fact that the U.S. was involved in basically torturing. And he told on them and put it out there for the world, and he got in trouble. But since then, he's still extremely careful with what he says, but he has his own podcast, and he's done multiple podcasts with other creators, basically letting everybody know what to look out for. Take a listen.
Does the CIA listen through our phones and laptop cameras? Yes. I hate to say it. There was a dramatic leak in 2017 that the CIA came to call the Vault 7 disclosures. Gigabytes worth of documents leaked by a CIA technology engineer. What he told us was that the CIA can intercept anything from anyone, number one. Number two, they can remotely take control of your car through the car's embedded computer. To do what? To make you drive off a bridge, into a tree, to make you kill yourself and make it look like an accident. They can take over your smart television and turn the speaker into a microphone so that they can listen to what's being said in the room even when the TV is turned off. God knows what else that they can do that hasn't been leaked.
So with that being said, it doesn't even just have to be his text messages. They could have been listening to a phone call. His TV could have turned into a microphone, and his car speaker could have turned into a recording device, and in the bathroom, his vents could have turned into a I see you thing. We don't know. And just like he said, I mean, like, you don't know what else they're even capable of. That to me is mind blowing. Excuse my ignorance, but I thought that the CIA could not spy on American citizens. But apparently that was kind of thrown out the window after 9/11. Anyway, on a lighter note, as promised, I'm going to throw up a few of our top comments from our last video, which was regarding the audio recording that everybody thought was Erica Reginae Pinocchio Kirk. And we're going to see what you guys had to say about that. And of course, we did find out that was debunked, and it was Haley Robson. So Erica Reginae Pinocchio Kirk is in the clear. So our first comment is from M.M.6683. They said, it's definitely Pinocchio. Hey, I like that. You guys using the Erica Reginae Pinocchio Kirk. Yes, share that around. Get used to it. That's the name. It's not going anywhere. It's definitely Pinocchio. But with their millions, they can make that call mean absolutely nothing. But if it were you or I, we would go to prison. Same people protecting E-Man will and are protecting her. Of course, it's the other girl. Hey, you got a point. And here's the thing. It blows my mind how the powers that be, the elites, the government, how they are able to manipulate things and change things and make things that were one thing something completely different. And I had a very naive mind growing up when it came to this situation. And it wasn't until maybe about 7 years ago or so when I really started paying attention to politics and just corruption that's going on in our government, that it really opened my eyes to see that what I'm seeing is probably not the truth, that I probably should not believe my eyes. Money talks. So you have a point there too. Money definitely talks. Our next comment is from Ryan. Ryan, thank you so much for watching and commenting. Ryan says, either way, Erica was put into a military advisor position she was unqualified for. Something is up. Even if this isn't her on the phone. Now, with Jake Paul being backed by Trump for political position, it seems more likely that EK is on something nefarious. Me and my wife also think this is her, though. I did notice that whole Jake Paul thing with Donald Trump, and I think I was just so mentally exhausted when I saw it that I was just like, okay, here we go. Here we go. All right, somebody get the popcorn. What's gonna happen next? Sometimes I wonder, like, if some of the people that are being led in the direction of politics, especially with this administration, I wonder if it's something that they even want to do. Like, Jake Paul seemed so nervous during that event. You guys can look it up for yourself. But I mean, his armpits in that suit, it looked like someone took 5-gallon buckets and threw them in each armpit. Like, it just seemed like he was nervous. But a lot of people are saying it was a substance thing. I don't know, not my business. However, what if he was nervous and that's not what he wanted to do, but because of the influence that he has on young America and how many people watch his vlogs every day, or that just pay attention to him and that really, really look up to him, maybe what if he was forced into it and it's just not a way that he wants to go? Hell, I thought he was a boxer. Now you want to get into in politics? What are we doing, Jake? What are we doing? And a lot of people think that that's Erica. You know, a lot of people are saying, I don't care if the affidavit says that it's Haley Robson. Because of what we now know that the government is capable of doing, or that the elites are capable of doing, nobody believes what they hear or see anymore. And it's just a new day and age. All right, our next comment is from Pandora Hope. Pandora says, I don't think it's Erica. I think some people are at the point where they are throwing out things, hoping others believe rumors they start so they can later disprove to discredit anyone who repeats it. That's what I do, muddy the water. If I were evil, like some people, allegedly, I feel like a few of the most recent things that have come out just kind of hit different. Well, Pandora, I see your point. I do. I see your point. And I think there is a lot of that going on right now. A lot of people are wanting to muddy the water for their own gain, whether it's clicks, likes, views, whatever the case may be. I mean, look at what just happened on X, right? With the whole Project Constitution thing. I don't think that he did it on purpose as far as putting out the whole audio of from the DOJ. But just think, if that was Erica, how big that would have boosted him to have been one of the first people to actually go viral off of it, making it seem like that's something like a bombshell that they just released. If that had worked out in his favor, he would have loved that attention. It would have been a huge spike in his career. Now, granted, it was debunked and he did come out and apologize and he did correct it. However, there are people who will not do that. You know, there are just very dishonest people that will go out and put out false information, rumors, and deem it to be true just for their own gain. And I think that is a very evil thing to do. It's a very evil thing to do, because even with Erica Rajane Pinocchio Kirk, she's not my cup of tea, but I would never want to lie on her. I would never want to put a video out that compromises her. No, knowingly that, this is not something that she's done and it's something that I completely made up, I would feel horrible. But a lot of people, they do not care. For a lot of people, the internet, social media, getting their foot in the door, being known, that's what they thrive off of, and they'll do anything to get that number one spot. But I'm going to end the video right here. Thank you so much for everybody that commented. Guys, keep commenting. I want to make sure that I get them on the video so we can have a conversation about it. So I really appreciate you guys for commenting and interacting with the video. Please make sure that you are liking the video. We really need those likes so that we can grow and hit the algorithm. Also, please make sure that you subscribe. Hi to all the new subscribers. I see you. Thank you so much for being here. Also, make sure you turn on those post notifications so that you know every single time there's a new video out, and share the video. Share with all of your friends and other creators too. If you want to support the channel, you can always hit up the Cash App and the Venmo right there on your screen. It's super helpful. It's going to improve this channel. I'm working extremely hard on this channel, as you guys can see, and I just want to see it thrive. Also, you can also hit the say thanks button, which is below this video. You can even throw supers in the comment section, and you can join to become a member. If you want to support on social media, that's even better. My TikTok, Instagram, and X is right there on your screen as well. It's been fun, guys. This has been In Cahoots Podcast. My name is Nikki, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.